Today I'm going to show you how to draw this ice cream in a cup. I'm going to draw the cup as a panda, but if you want you can draw here another animal. And I will draw this in a Procreate app, but if you want you can follow along in another drawing app. The steps will be similar. Before you start, make sure to download my color palette and my free Procreate brushes. They are linked in the description of this video. And if you enjoyed this video and would like to draw more with me, make sure to check out my Patreon, where I have more step-by-step Procreate tutorials and brushes. Link is in the description. And with all that being said, grab your drawing tools and let's start. Let's make here a new canvas, A4 canvas from Procreate. Rotate it this way. And first we are going to color the background. So let's take the color. Let's take this one. And we can just drag and drop it in here. Now we can make a new layer to start drawing the ice cream. Let's pick the color for this. Take this one. And let's pick the brush. Let's go here to my siakulaart special brushes and take tube. Let's make the brush size 100%. And we are going to draw here an ellipse shape. So like this, hold your pencil on the screen to make this a perfect ellipse. And put your finger here to make this horizontal. And it's fine if this part is not perfect, we are not going to see this anyways. If you want, you can tap here on Edit Shape. And you can adjust it still. You can make it more flat, like this, or make it longer. I like this shape like this, so I'm going to tap with my finger on the screen to finish this. Now we want to color the inside of this in a light color. So we are going to select the outside of this first. Let's take the selection tool. Here at the bottom, let's pick automatic and make sure that your color field is not turned on. And tap somewhere on the outside of this ellipse. You can swipe your pencil to the left or right to adjust the color drop threshold. Now let's tap here on invert to have this selected. With this selected, we are going to make a new layer. We can put it under that ellipse and we can color this. Let's take the color, take this one and just drag and drop it in here. Now let's open the layers and we can merge those two layers together. We can pinch them together like this. Now to make a next layer of the ice cream, we can just duplicate this layer. So swipe on it to the left and pick duplicate. And let's take the arrow tool, and here at the bottom let's pick uniform option and turn on snapping, so we can make this smaller now and move it up. So like this. And because we have this snapping turned on here, it will stay here on this line, on the middle line of the ellipse. Okay, let's tap here to finish. And we are going to do it a few more times. So let's duplicate this layer now. Take the arrow tool, make it smaller and move it up. Let's do it again. And one more time. And tap here to finish. Now we're going to draw here this top swirl. We'll do it on a new layer. So let's make a layer. Let's go back to the pink color, this one. And I will draw it somewhere out here so it's more visible. Let's draw a shape like this. Let's try to make it nicer. Okay, I like this one. So now we can color the inside of this. So again, let's take the selection tool, tap on the outside, now tap on invert, and let's make a new layer. Put it under that shape. And let's color it in this color. Now we can merge those two layers together. And now we can move it over here. Let's take the arrow tool and let's move it here. And as you can see, this doesn't fit here perfectly, but it's fine, we can fix it. Let's take here now the freeform option. And we can just stretch it like that. And just adjust it so it will look good. Okay, we can also take here this distort option and then adjust those points like that. Maybe this over here. Okay, and let's tap here to finish. We can still adjust this. I want to make this more pointy. So for this we can go to the adjustments and we can take liquify. Here at the bottom let's pick push. Let's make the size 24, pressure 55, distortion none, and momentum 51. Now we can just stretch this out like that to make it nicer. Okay, I like it now, so I'm going to tap here to finish this. Now right away we can add here some shadow in between those parts. Let's go back to this first layer here, first one of the ice cream, and let's make a new layer above it. We are going to change here the blending mode to multiply, and we are going to draw here the shadow that we want to be visible only on this layer that's underneath. So to do that we have to tap here and we have to set it to clipping mask. Let's pick the color now. Let's take this one and let's pick the brush. Here I'm going to use my other brush, medium noise. I'll make the brush size 14 and I will draw here like that. We can turn down the opacity of this now. So let's tap here and let's make this 44. Let's do the same to the other layers. So go to this layer here, make a new layer above it, set it as clipping mask, change this to multiply, and draw over here. And let's turn down the opacity. Let's make it also 44. Okay, next one. Make a new layer above this, set it as clipping mask, change the blending mode to multiply. Maybe right away we can turn this down to 44%. And let's draw over here. Okay, next one. Make a new layer above it, set it as clipping mask, change this to multiply, and turn down the opacity to 44. Let's draw over here. And one more. So tap here, make a new layer above it, set it as clipping mask, change this to multiply, turn down the opacity to 44, and let's draw over here. Now we're going to add here some shadow also on this part. So for this we can make a new layer above it, set it as clipping mask, change this to multiply. Let's turn down the opacity also to 44. We can make the brush size smaller for this. And we can just add this shadow like this over here. little bit over here. Okay, now we are going to group all of those layers. So let's swipe on them to the right. And tap here on group. We can close this group, so this way we don't have to see all those layers here. Now that this is in the group, we can also take the arrow tool and move it to the middle of the canvas. Okay, let's tap here to finish. Let's draw our cap now. For this, we're going to make a new layer and we'll put it under that group. Over here. Let's pick the color. Take this one. And let's change the brush. Let's go here to calligraphy and take monoline brush. And now let's take a small break, and I would like to ask you to write a comment with the word ice cream. It would mean a lot to me. I would know that you enjoyed this video and I could see who is watching me. So thank you for doing that. And now let's go back to drawing. Let's draw an ellipse, some over here. So hold your pencil on the screen and now put your finger here to make this horizontal. We are drawing here the bottom part of the cup. Okay. Now let's take the arrow tool and we are going to move it to the middle of the canvas, right here. Let's tap here to finish. And to draw two lines on the sides symmetrically, we have to turn on the drawing assist. For this, let's go to the Actions menu, go to Canvas, turn on Drawing Guide. Now tap on Edit Drawing Guide. And here let's pick Symmetry. Now go to the options and make sure you have vertical selected. Tap on Done. Now we can draw here a line on this side at an angle, and you're going to have the same line over here on the other side. So let's draw a line somewhere over here. And now we want to close this shape here. So to make this easier, let's turn off the visibility of the ice cream for a second. So go here and turn it off. And now we can just draw it over here. This line doesn't have to be perfect because it will be covered by the ice cream. Let's color this inside. Like that. And now we can bring back our ice cream. Now in this part you can start having fun and draw here any animal that you like. I'm going to draw a panda, but if you want you can draw a fox or maybe a cat, whatever you like. And if you want to be using here the symmetry, just make sure that on the layer that you'll be drawing, the drawing assist will be turned on. So for me, I'm going to make a new layer here. And I will tap here and I will turn on drawing assist. So now when I want to draw the eyes, I'll take this color. And I can draw here a shape for the eyes. And I will see it also over here. I'm going to color this inside. And now I will erase here the middle part. So for this I'll take the eraser, I will tap on it again and I will set it to the same brush, so calligraphy and monoline brush. And my brush size here will be 18. And I'm just going to erase here a shape like that. Now I'll make the brush size bigger, 100%, so I can erase it faster. And I can also fix the outside shape if I want to. Maybe this will be nicer like that. Okay, let's go back to the brush and let's draw here a circle for the eye. So let's draw a circle like that. And now hold your pencil on the screen and put your finger here to make this a perfect circle. Let's color this inside. And now maybe let's draw the nose. So I will draw a shape over here like that. I will color this inside. And now I'm going to draw the mouth. So I'll draw a line and an arc like this. Okay. On the same layer, we can draw the cheeks. Let's change the color. We can take this pink one. And we can draw here an ellipse. Like that. Let's color this inside. And now for my panda, I still need to draw the ears. I will make them on a new layer. And I will put this layer under the cap over here. I'm going to set this layer as drawing assist, so I can use the symmetry. And I will take that dark color again and draw here ears. Like that. I'm closing this shape, and now I can color this. I'm going to still add some small dots in the eyes. I will go back to this layer over here. And I don't want them to be symmetrical, so I'll turn off the drawing assist. I'm going to take this color. I'll make the brush size bigger, I'll make it 35. And I will just stamp them over here. 1. And 1. And now a smaller one, brush size 20. And I will draw it here. Okay, so now that we finished the face, we don't need the symmetry line anymore. We can turn it off. Let's go to the Actions menu, Canvas, and turn off Drawing Guide. Let's draw now shadow on the cap. For this, we can make a new layer on top of this. And we want this shadow to be visible only on the cap. So we have to set it as clipping mask, but this layer with the face is between that. Is between the shadows and the cap. So first we have to set this layer as clipping mask. And now this one, we can also set it as clipping mask. And it will be clipped to the shape of the cap. Let's change here blending mode for the shadows. Let's set it to multiply. And let's pick the color. Let's take this purple one here. Let's change the brush. Let's go here to my siakulaart special brushes and take medium noise. With the brush size 16, we can draw the shadow over here under the ice cream, like that. And now let's take it to the side, like this. Let's turn down the opacity of this. So tap here and let's make it very small. I will make it 35. And now let's make a new layer on top of this one. Set it as clipping mask. Change it also to multiply. And now we can just darken here this shadow right under the ice cream. Okay. And let's turn down the opacity of this layer. Let's make it 29. And maybe we can also draw here a little bit more. Okay, we still have to add the shadow to this ear. So for this we can make a new layer above that ear. So go here and make a new layer above it and set it as clipping mask. Change this to multiply. And let's just color this. There is not much difference here, really, because this is such a dark color, but it is slightly darker. I want to also add some shadow around the eyes. So for this, I'll go here to the layer of the cap and make here a new layer above it, so the shadow will be under the eyes here. I'm going to change here the blending mode to multiply. And I will take smaller brush size. I'll make it 3%. And I will draw the shadow over here. like that. Same here. Okay. And I will turn down the opacity of this. I will make it 36. Now, before we start adding here some light, let's add also shadow to this part of the ice cream. So for this, we are going to duplicate this group, swipe on it and pick duplicate. And now we can tap on this one and pick here flatten. We only want this to have this shape. So we can now select it, tap on it and pick select. Make sure your color fill is not turned on. And let's make here a new layer. Let's set it as multiply. And now we can add this shadow only on this area. So let's do that. Let's make the brush size bigger now. Let's make it 17. And just add it to the right side. Like that. Let's tap here. And we can turn down the opacity of this. I will make it 54. And we can hide this layer here. Okay, let's tap here to finish. And now let's add some light to this illustration. We can start here with the ice cream part. So again, we're going to select this. Tap on this layer and pick select. And let's make a new layer. Let's move it above the shadows. And let's change in blending mode to add. And let's pick the color. Let's take this one. And let's make the brush size smaller now, 10%. And let's add the light over here, like that. And also just a tiny bit here on the edge where the shadow is. Okay, let's tap here to finish, and we can turn down the opacity of this. I will make it 68%. Let's add some light now on the cap. So for this we can go here to this layer with the shadows. Let's make a new layer above it, set it as clipping mask, and change this to add. Let's add the light over here. And then a little bit on the edge here where the shadow is. Let's turn down the opacity of this. I'll make it 64. Let's add some light to this ear. So let's go here to the shadow on the ears, make a new layer above it, set it as clipping mask, change this to add, and let's add here some light, like that. We can add a tiny bit over here, like this. And now we can add shadow under the cap. So for this, let's make a new layer. And let's put it under everything here, above that layer number 1 with the color in the background. Let's change this to multiply. And let's pick the color. Let's take this one. And let's change the brush. Let's go to calligraphy and take monoline brush. Let's draw here a bigger ellipse like this. We can adjust it, so tap here and move the points. Like that, I think it's good. Let's tap with the finger on the screen to finish this. And let's color this inside. We are going to blur this. So let's go to the adjustments and take Gaussian blur. Swipe your pencil on the screen to the blur size. And let's make this 14%. Now we can take the arrow tool and move this a little bit, because my shadow is coming out on this side and it shouldn't so much. Okay. Let's tap here to finish. And now let's adjust the opacity of this. So go here and let's turn it down. I will make it 52. And now we can duplicate this layer. So swipe on it to the left and pick duplicate. And let's take the arrow tool and make this smaller. Let's change here to freeform option and make it smaller like this. And now here. Okay. Also, let's make it smaller this way. And let's blur this a little bit more. So go to the adjustments, take Gaussian blur. And let's blur this 13%. We can turn down the opacity of this. I'll make it 39. And now I forgot to add light around his eyes. Let's go to this layer here with a shadow for them. Make a new layer above it. It is already set as clipping mask. Let's change this to add. Take the light color, this one. Let's go back to the noise brush from my siakulaart special brushes. Make it small, 3%, and add it now on this side, opposite side than the shadow. It's not very visible because the cap is white, but it's there. If you decide to do the fox and you'll have here some orange color, you will be able to see it more. Okay, so now in the end, I'm just going to make this bigger a little bit, everything. So I will swipe on everything to the right. I will take the arrow tool and I will change this to uniform option and just make it bigger, like this. And now let's add something to the background still. So for this, let's go to this layer here with the color in the background, make a new layer above it. Let's pick the color, take this one, and let's pick the brush. I want to add here some stars. So here I'll go to my siakulaart freebies brushes and I will take stars. My brush size will be 14. And I'll just add few of them like that. This is optional, you don't have to do it if you don't like this effect. Now I'm going to make one more layer here to add something else to the background. I'm going to change this to add. And we can change the color. Let's take this one. And let's change the brush. Let's go here to luminance. And take bokeh lights. With the brush size 56, we can just add some lights here like that. We can duplicate this layer now to make this stronger. And we can turn down the opacity of this so it's not too strong. I'll make this 42. And now this illustration is finished. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and I hope you can share your drawing with me on my Instagram. I would love to see it. And if you'd like to draw more of me, don't forget to check out my Patreon. Link is in the description. Thank you so much for watching and see you in my next video. Bye!